What's going on, guys? It's Ian with Upper James Toyota, and today we're going to be comparing two trucks. I've got a Tundra Limited TRD Off-Road versus the Ford F-150 XLT package. We're going to see what's similar, what's different, what could look better for you and your family. So stay tuned and check it out. So let's talk front end for this Ford F-150 XLT. Now, from the front, a couple of things that maybe I'm actually not going to be the biggest fan of. I'm gonna start down below here, and that's going to be your fog lights, which are very, very low on the vehicle. Now, that is very useful and practical for an everyday driver. If you're driving this in the nighttime or on a road that's a little bit darker, that's not lit, say in the country, it's gonna give you much better visibility of actually what's directly beneath you on the truck. However, I have driven this vehicle before in the nighttime. Now, the headlights are pretty bright, but what I will be saying is that the visibility actually out of the Tundra with the tri-beam headlights, with the fog lights on the vehicle also being LED, I actually find the visibility from the front end a lot better and a lot more useful for that nighttime driving on the Tundra. Now, styling wise, they are a little bit different on the front end. Now, both these trucks are pretty big. They're coming in roughly around the same height. So on the front end design, I like the hood bulges on the F-150. They also have a couple of those on the Tundra, which I will show you in a few minutes here. Now, looking at the front grille, the only thing I will be saying is that the front end on this truck looks very, very busy. That's the only, real good way to actually describe it. I like the honeycomb grille, but it seems like a lot on the front end for a pickup truck. If you're comparing that to the Tundra, for example, I like the styling of the headlights a little bit better. I like your LED fog lamps on either side of the, bottom of this bumper. And now the only thing about this massive grille on the front end, and the only complaint that I really have towards the new Tundras, are going to be this design, because I find that if you're ever highway driving this, if you've got a stone that flies through here, this is a plastic grille. Now you could obviously upgrade to something a little bit more stronger, something a bit more durable, but I'm worried that a stone's gonna fly through here, hit your radiator, pierce something that you don't want obviously to go wrong on your Tundra, and that could obviously cause a little bit of issues. Now, Toyota has said, and we have talked about this in dealer meetings, that anything that goes through here, they have designed some vents on the inside, and they're using different materials on the inside past the front grille to actually deflect that and stop anything from damaging anything on the inside of the Tundra. Now, that is good that they have done that kind of cautionary step. However, if you're driving this on the highway and a stone is flying at you throughout that grille, I don't know exactly how fast a stone could be flying, for example, for it not to do any damage. So that could be something I may be a little bit worried about onto the front end. Now, talking about a couple design features on this vehicle, one thing I will be liking is that because this is a TRD off-road, this is catered for the limited side to have some of that luxury feel like leather and the bigger screens, which you guys will see on the inside. However, it actually does have some actual active things working for you if you're ever off-roading. One being that you actually have functional air vents on the side here, and that's gonna cool you down, for example, if you're in deep snow, deep mud, or you are truly off-roading this vehicle. That could actually be a very, very beneficial thing to have on your pickup truck. Okay, so now sitting next to both of these trucks, now they do sit pretty high up, and you would imagine that they will sit a bit higher up, being a full-size pickup. Now, looking at the two hoods, I like the design of both. I actually don't really know which one I like a bit better. I think I'll be taking the Tundra only because it's not in black. So I like a different color paint on this, because you can actually see these scoops on the hood and where the airflow would go directly over top of the truck, versus the F-150, where it still has some of those nice cutouts, but it just looks a little bit more exaggerated on the Tundra, which I'm going to like. Now, taking a closer look at wheels, I'm gonna get down here and you will see that this limited TRD off-road comes with TRD off-road rims. This versus a regular limited, the rim will actually get a little bit smaller, but you'll be getting a much beefier and bulkier tire for taking this vehicle off-road. If you're looking at this compared to the F-150 rim, yes, the rim is going to be a little bit bigger with trail terrain tires, which is very, very nice. However, I think the looks of this just looks a little basic to me. I don't know if I like this massive alloy spoke to each of them. I like how this one looks a little bit more I'm gonna use busy again, actually. I'm gonna say this one looks a little bit more busy, but I actually think the looks of this with the black and the silver, with this contrast on this color truck, actually make it look pretty good in my opinion. Now, if I'm gonna stand back up here and quickly look at mirror caps, this is one thing where I think Toyota's done a pretty good job. This mirror cap is just matte black plastic. Same with this little cutout here as well. I don't think it looks good. I think it just looks cheap and it sticks out like a sore thumb, especially with this truck being black. If you're looking at this mirror with this color and this being a gloss metallic gray, which actually matches your paint on the vehicle with this gloss black, I think that they have done a very good job to make it look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing versus say a matte option that would kind of make it look a little bit less expensive. And especially when you're paying a pretty premium dollar into one of these trucks, I would be expecting to have a feature like this on a truck coming in at this price point. Now, another feature I like onto both sides of any pickup trucks, and something that someone will need, are going to be running boards. Now, the one on the Ford, they're not too bad. I have larger feet, so actually getting my foot in and out of a running board might be a little bit more difficult for someone who has larger feet. Now, this one's gonna be finished in this like plastic versus this one, which is also a plastic, but it has a really nice kind of like sandpaper material, which actually holds your feet in a little bit better. Now, this truck being catered to the off-road and being a TRD off-road, the running boards installed actually have these little cutouts along it, which means if you're ever in something like deep mud or deep water, deep snow, for example, it actually won't get caught. And if it's melting the snow or water to get through, it won't be stuck on top of your running board. It'll actually fall through, making it more accessible for you and anyone else getting in or out of these trucks. Now, one last thing that I'm in favor of on the Tundra versus the Ford is that going to be inside these running boards, it does say TRD, and it makes, you know, the match of the running board to the actual package of the vehicle, it makes it look a little bit more well-rounded in my opinion. You guys can let me know down below in the comments what you guys think. Now, looking onto the actual Crew Max cabs or the rears of both of these cabs, the one thing that I will be saying is that you get these silver handles on the Tundra, and that matches this chrome piece that goes around your window, versus the F150, it's got black door handles and the trim is again this matte plastic which matches your mirror caps. Now, I'm definitely someone who's not a huge fan of a lot of chrome, especially on a dark color pickup truck. This may look a bit better in say white or even like a silver might look a bit better. So that's gonna be the biggest thing that I would want to change on my Tundra, is going to be getting rid of these chrome door handles and getting something more matte black to actually match, say, the mirror caps on this vehicle, because I think that's something that actually looks very, very good in my opinion. Now, taking a closer look onto the beds of both of these trucks, you will see TRD off-road written again on the rear, and Toyota does a very, very good job to emphasize what package you are getting in the vehicle. I'll show you even more small little TRD spots on the inside of the vehicle once we get in there shortly. Now, looking at both of the rear ends, again, I'm thinking I'm gonna go Toyota on this one. You know, I have nothing against Ford, but I think the styling and the redesign of the Tundra makes this truck actually look like a truck worth the dollar that I would spend. If I ever needed a pickup truck, I feel like I would be going Tundra all day long. I think value for what you're getting is huge on this truck. Now, the one thing I really do like are these rear headlamps, which are LED, and they're going to be sequential as well. So I think they look super, super bright, and it's definitely an upgrade, say, versus a SR5 version of this truck or just a regular TRD off-road and not the limited version. You get a lot more value and more, you know, luxurious features like this. Now, the other feature I'm going to love on this pickup truck is on this rear tail light on the driver's side. You simply click this and your full tailgate will fold down. Now, this is also soft closing, so it's not gonna slam down all the way. It's not gonna break these handles, nothing like that. And I think that's a really, really good feature to add in a pickup truck. If you're ever loading stuff in from Home Depot, any furniture that you're buying, it makes it very, very easy to load things in and out of. And then obviously closing it, it's actually very, very light. You can simply lift it up and it's gonna fold down very, very simply for you. Now, looking onto this F-150 is the fact that I just don't think that the rear styling of this really makes this truck pop in any way. If I saw this vehicle just driving on the road, I would think you know, it's just a regular F-150, nothing too crazy about it. Now, you pull this handle, there's no actual latch for it to go down. And as you could just hear by that, is that I had to make sure that this doesn't slam like that. Now, obviously, in a pickup truck, it's used as typically a work truck or something you're gonna be throwing stuff in and out of. So maybe you don't mind that it slams down. However, over time, I would think as a consumer that maybe these straps or the mechanism could break, which is obviously gonna set you back bringing the truck in to get repaired. So I think that small little touch that they've added on the new Tundras, and obviously depending on the package you're getting for the easy access tailgate, is definitely great value for money. Okay, now taking a peek into the inside of this Ford F-150. Now, this being a full-size pickup truck, yes, it definitely does feel very, very spacious. Now, the one interesting thing about Ford and about other manufacturers versus Toyota is that you can actually customize quite a lot on a Ford. Now, if you're ever wanting, say, a moonroof, which I always love in any kind of vehicle, or even a truck to make the inside feel a lot bigger, is the fact that you could actually spec this truck like it is with cloth seats, with a moonroof. If you're wanting to get the moonroof, say in a Tundra, you need to go to a limited. That's the only model that's gonna start with a moonroof. Now, with that being said, yes, you'll get leather seats and whatnot, but if someone was, say, wasn't a big fan of leather and they just wanted the moonroof with not a whole lot of bells and whistles, that's kind of where Ford definitely has the edge, because you can customize their trucks a little bit more than, say, we can here at Toyota. Now, looking at the kind of layout of the vehicle, I've been in many, many Fords before, and this just looks like a very, very typical Ford. Yes, you've got sport inside on the seats for the rear and front passengers. You've got these cool seat belts with like the red stripe with the black inserts on the middle. That's a nice touch as well. They do have massive, massive center consoles for storage, which is great, with more storage down on my driver's side, you know, right knee down here and into my door. But everything else looks pretty basic to me. The screen's kind of an average size, you know, 1-zone climate control, that's okay. I would kind of want something that has maybe 2-zone climate control, which makes it a little bit more user-friendly. Now, it definitely looks like the layout of the actual dash. Sure, it says sport in the needles, which is a nice touch, but again, it's all, you know, needles, the old, you know, old school tech into it. Now, this is a few years older than the Tundra that we are reviewing, but still, it doesn't really feel like a truck that was, say, built in the last 7-8 years. It definitely feels like it's something that could be as old as, say, a 2012 or a 2014, somewhere in that range, because it is just looking a little bit more dated than the inside of the Tundra. So I think I would be going and spending my money on a new Tundra versus a Ford. All right, now let's take a peek onto the inside of this Tundra. Now, sitting down in here, I can definitely feel the more premium touch versus the Ford XLT. Now, like I said before, sitting inside of that truck, this one also comes with a moonroof, but to get the moonroof, you have to upgrade to a limited. So that's gonna come with heated and cooled seats, which again, is a nice feature to have. And in this kind of truck, getting a full leather interior, I don't really know if this would be necessarily catered to a working truck. I don't know if people would want, you know, dirty pants, or, you know, a long day on a construction site, or if you're a landscaper and have grass everywhere. Now, someone who doesn't care about that, maybe they're still buying this truck. Who's to say, you know, what someone can and cannot buy? But having a vehicle that have, you know, nice finishes like this one does, I would obviously want to keep it, you know, as clean as I can. Now, taking a closer peek onto the screens, talking about my MID in front of me, a couple cool things to note. Like I mentioned, on the outside, you will be getting a TRD steering wheel, a TRD shift knob, as well as a TRD stop start button as well. So they've really, you know, exaggerated the TRD on the outside, same with the inside. Now, this truck definitely has very, very similar storage to the F-150. You've got a massive compartment in the middle here. The only downfall is the F-150 actually had a storage down below here on this side of this center console. I actually don't have anything on mine, but the only good thing is that the storage space in here is quite big. So if you're ever gonna put something in there, you will be having no issues fitting whatever you need into this center console, which you can actually easily access just by sliding this little plastic tray in and around, which is actually a very, very cool convenience feature to have. Now, looking at, say, screens on this vehicle, having this massive 14-inch display versus a 7 or an 8-inch, I believe, on that F-150 is going to make all the difference in the world. Now, this being a newer truck, I know it's going to have newer tech versus that Ford. However, something that comes in at this kind of price point, you want a lot of features. You want, you know, the biggest and the best features that are offered in that vehicle, which this Tundra definitely does deliver. If you're looking for something that has those off-road capabilities, that have all your different drive modes down below, like your crawl control, your MTS, and your different 2 high, 4 low, and 4 high options, this definitely could be a pretty cool, you know, vehicle to get yourself into. Now, another really interesting thing, and I'll show it on the screen very shortly, but if I actually put my foot on the brake and start this vehicle up, it actually says Tundra written across this screen, which I think is a really, really cool touch. Now, that beeping is just a dash cam that we have installed on the vehicle, just telling the driver that the vehicle is actually ready to go and it's ready to record if need be. Now, I think what they've done and that screen they've added kind of shows these cool mountains behind it and whatnot really do cater this truck to that person that's going to be off-roading the vehicle. Whether you're getting a limited TRD off-road Tundra or a Platinum, TRD Pro, a Capstone, whatever it is, it still has that really, really cool startup animation. And I think that's a really, really cool feature that Toyota has added, especially coming in at the price point that a new Tundra does come in at. All right, guys, thanks so much for checking out this video versus the F150 XLT against the limited TRD off-road Tundra. If you guys have either of these trucks or you were actually debating buying either one of them, let me know down below in the comments which one you guys chose and the reasoning behind it. I'm always interested to see what customers and consumers are buying and the reason behind that. If you guys did enjoy this video, please do not forget to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss any more of our future Toyota related content, and we'll check you guys out in the next video.